Hey folks, this is Jacoby Guyton, and I just wanted to drop a few lines to let you know who I am, share my story with you. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm from a middle class family. I'm from a family that I didn't need. I didn't have everything I wanted, don't get me wrong, or a silver spoon in my mouth, but we made it. We made it. We made it with what we had. My dad was a worker. He came from the era of work your butt off, and that's exactly what he did. He worked his butt off all the way. He worked for Anheuser-Busch. He worked and worked and worked. My mom was a decorated real estate agent in St. Louis, Missouri, and she was one of the top sellers in her area for a long time. And she's been selling property for about 20 years, and was still selling property recently when the market crashed. So she's done very well with it. So like I said, my family is good. I came from a sturdy background with the nice structure, but I didn't stay that way. As all kids, they call the kids of the working family the lost generation. So, of course, that's what we did. We went out there and tried to do stuff on our own, and I had a full ride to go to Howard University from my high school. I was a two-time state champion, and our team won state championships three times in a row. So, I had offers, but my grades weren't all the greatest. So, I had Big Ten and Big 12 offers, but I couldn't take advantage of them because my grade point average. My grade point, I graduated high school with a 2.3 grade point average. And the only way that I stuck it out in high school was because I wanted to stay eligible to play sports. So you can catch my drift as far as what I've done, in high school and everything. I wasn't the straight A student, or I didn't make honor roll all the time, or the carry the 3.0, or did the college prep classes. But I did what I had to do to play sports. So got my full ride to Howard University, but school wasn't for me. I mean, just to put it plain and simple, it just wasn't a situation. I was always making excuses why I couldn't go to class. I was always making excuses why I couldn't do this. And then, I got into the times of, smoking weed, and that got me a ticket straight out of college. I got kicked out of school and got sent back home to wrestle. I got another full ride scholarship to a community college because the school really wanted me to wrestle for them junior college wise. So I went back home for a little bit and I stayed in school, but school just wasn't for me. So I had this girlfriend that I had at Howard University, and she lived in Florida, and she lived in Bradenton, Florida. Now my dad always took us on summer vacations, and we always went to Florida. And it was beautiful down there in Florida. And I told myself one day I'm gonna live in Florida. Well, I didn't know that one day was that day that I decided to move down to Florida, and I had moved down to Orlando, Florida, and I was supposed to meet the girl that I was dating there. But of course, she stood me up, so I was in Orlando, Florida with myself and by myself. And I did have a job. I transferred a job from St. Louis, Missouri out there, but I was only making $8.50 an hour. So then when that job took me down there, I couldn't sustain my apartment. My apartment at the time, I think, was like $595, $600 a month. It was a one bedroom. I didn't have any furniture in it. I barely had the water and the electricity on, so I was sleeping on the floor. I was sleeping on newspapers. And then I had got me a dog. I couldn't even take care of myself, but I got me a dog. So it was a little pit bull. It was my first dog, and I love that dog. But I couldn't take care of that dog, and I got so angry. I became bitter because I didn't have anything, and I didn't know how to get out of the rut that I was in. And so I met a couple friends, and they told me of a new place that was hiring. And so I applied, and I got the job, and it was like $13 an hour. And this is my starting in the collection agency business, and this was for a a mortgage company. So the company name was Aquin. Some of you may have had houses, but as of late, Aquin hasn't been doing too good. So, but that's here nor there. But that was the company that got me on the right path. That was the company that got me started making a little bit of money. Plus, with that $13, $14 an hour, I was making, a commission check anywhere from $300 to $400 per month. So that would add on to it, and we would top out. Our top, you couldn't make more than $900 per month extra in commissions. So, and then you had to go through the ranks as far as the departments, 30, 60 day, 30 delinquency, 30, 60, then 60 to 90, then pre foreclosure. So, you had to go up through the ranks, and as you go up through the ranks, you got more money. But I was still missing stuff in Orlando when I was staying up there, and the price of Orlando to live there is extremely high due to Disney World, all the tourists and everything else like that. So the price of living was taking a toll on me up there. So what I was doing was I was training for football because I played football in high school, and I played a little football growing up too. But I wanted to do the arena football. Well, I trained doing arena football. Then I came to a crossroad where I couldn't do Aquin and football. Well, my passion was with the football, so I went to a call center, AT&T, and I had got a job there, which was a little bit less than I was making at Aquin, but it allowed me to train because I was working part time, which it decreased the amount of money I was living in. So I moved in with the friends that I had met. So when I moved in with the friends I had met, it allowed me to train and only work part time, and then I put you in on the rent or what have you, and live my life that way. And that was a taxing time for me because I've never shared a house with anybody except for my family. I was away from my family. I was away from my girlfriend at the time. She was down doing her thing, and at the end of the day, she ended up getting pregnant by somebody else. But I swear it was me. I swear it was mine. I knew it was mine. This, that, and the other. I swore up and down it was mine. But in all reality, I knew that it wasn't mine inside. But I just didn't want to face the hurt and the agony that I was going to be faced with when it really set in. And so, I tried to make it work. I tried to say, I'm still going to be with you, this, that, and the other. And then that took a toll. So I end up parting ways, to say the least. And I end up getting a call as I'm going through this from this manager that worked at Aquin. And he called me and said, Jacoby, are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to make a lot of money? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I mean, he was excited. He was like, are you ready? Are you ready to make some money? And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, hell yeah, I'm ready to make some money. And I said, so what do I have to do? He said, well, I just got the branch manager position at this company down in Tampa. Are you willing to move to Tampa? If Tampa was about hour 15 from where I was staying in Orlando. So I was like, yeah, I'll be willing to move to Tampa. Why not? And at this time, I didn't have nothing in Orlando anyway, but a couple friends. So I was like, yeah, I'll move. I'll move to Tampa. And so the next day, I got the interview with him, and he told me, he was like, here, you're going to be able to make unlimited commissions. And this is a collection business. This is a private company. It was new, and it was new to Tampa, and it was something that was coming off the ground, and they were paying big time money. See, private companies can do things that public companies can't. They can give you a little cash, and this was back probably about 7 to 8 years ago. Yeah, back about 7, maybe even 10 years ago. And they give you extra little money here and there. But see, my mentality was I didn't want to stay on the phones in collection. I wanted to get there and get into the management role. So when I got there and he gave me the position, man, I packed up all my stuff. I said, I'm moving. I didn't even know where I was moving to, but I knew I had to make that change. I know I had to be uncomfortable and make the change so I can become successful. So what I did, I moved down, and I found a friend at the job, and we talked, and I knew, and I mean, a friend, maybe he was an acquaintance at the time, didn't know me from anybody, and I asked him, I was like, can I lay on your couch for a week? He was like, a week? He said, man, I don't know, I got family, I got kids, and I was like, all I need is a week. He's like, you know what? You seem like you're a cool dude. He's like, you seem like you sincere about what you're trying to do, and you're trying to come up. He's like, let me talk to my wife and I get back with you tomorrow. So I stayed in my car that night. I stayed in my car, and then they had a Holiday Inn down the road. So when the morning hit, I was able to go to the Holiday Inn, wash myself off, brush my teeth, and put some clothes on. And then, I wasn't a person that allowed people in my business. I was very private, so I was very discreet. I mean, if you saw me, you wouldn't think I was living like that. So once I did that, he came back the next day. He said, "You know what?" He was like, We'll allow you to stay on our couch for 2 weeks." For 2 weeks, he said, "But I can't do anything after those 2 weeks." So I was like, "Cool." So I went over there, met his family, and met his kids and everything, and he's still a good friend today, still till today. And I stayed on that couch for those 2 weeks, and I called my parents back home, and I was like, "Listen, I need a huge favor." I said, "I need X amount of dollars so I can get the apartment in the same complex where he was living." And I was like, I need a 1 bedroom apartment. And I said, I don't need no furniture. I just need a place to go and call mine. So they gave me the money. My mom sent me the money, talked to my dad, sent me the money, and I told him I was going to pay her back in 45 days. And within the first 30 days, I had got my first bonus check. After my first 30 days for $2,300, I'll never forget it. And that was the start of my change of life. That $2,300 not only paid my mom back, because you got to think that's $2,300 on top of my pay, and I was getting paid 1550 something at the time. So I paid my mom back, and then I was able to move in, and now I was starting to save up for my furniture and stuff in my house. So it just was a blessing that this man even opened his doors to me. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. We didn't know what kind of person, what kind of people we were. But it was just the fact that the doors had opened up. He had opened the doors for me to come in. And so when I got to Tampa, all I had was a duffel bag. I had one duffel bag with my clothes, and that was it. So I was able to get to his house. Then shortly after, my car broke down. So I had to commute with him to back and forth to work. So, I remember walking to the barbershop to get a haircut because, you want to keep your at least your haircut when you go to a job. So I was walking down the street, and it's hot in Florida at the time. So I'm talking about 90s, 100 degrees outside. So I was like, man, I never want to be in this position again. I start praying and praying to God, and Lord, please never allow me to get myself in this situation again, or bless my situation, bless me, to spawn up and do positive things in my life now. And before I knew it, in 2 months, I went to go get a car. That car was a '77 Chevy, and I gave this man $1,800, and guess what happened? As soon as he dropped it off, it didn't work no more. And I couldn't get to him because I had no way to get to him. So I was like, another setback. So I was down. I was out. I was like, Jesus, man, what else can happen right now? I'm out of $1,800. I don't have money to last me because that was it. That's all I had. And luckily I made another $3,000 check. And I took $1,700 to this car lot that my friend had said, listen, let me take you to this lot. This is good cars, and I was able to get a 1995 Mazda. No, was it? Yeah, I think it was a 1995 Mazda. It was green, and me, I drove my cars real slow. I didn't. I'm not a fast driver. I have nice cars, but I didn't have fast car. I mean, I didn't have the fast foot to hit it and just. I'm not that kind of driver. I like to look nice in my cars. So, long story short, we got that car, and I end up getting a roommate shortly after that. I've been praying, Lord, I need something to happen. So he brought me a roommate. And I was angry. I was bitter. So, I probably wasn't the best roommate because I was shutting myself in my room a lot and wouldn't allow myself to be vulnerable, be open because of the life. And I was ashamed of myself and what I was done because the way that I was raised and now the position I was in, it just didn't go in the puzzle, but it went in the puzzle of my life to create who I am today. And see, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you the story. I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you the story of how I didn't have anything. I was going in Circle K stealing a burrito because I had nothing to eat and didn't have a dime to buy it with. But I couldn't starve. So what was I supposed to do? I wasn't going to sit out there and beg, so, and I was in a place where I didn't have family, I had one friend. So it was just a rough time for me. It was a rough time, but it was a situation to where now that I don't have to live that life anymore. You know, and that's my story to tell you that you're looking at somebody who's been through all the rough times that a person could go through in life to create himself into a man. You know, I wasn't the one to live off of a female. I wasn't the one to do that, but let me finish telling you. So I go to I go get my car. Got my car, works fine. Now I have a way to get back into work. I got a little furniture in my house, to get me by, but I didn't have my life wasn't complete because I didn't have anybody. It was just me. So, I go to work and I love work because it was just my way of interacting. It was away from my house. So I would put in long hours. I was getting paid. I mean, we was making so much crazy money at the time. I mean, I was probably making about $75,000 at 22, 23 years old. So, but at that age, you party a lot. You go out, and I live in Tampa where it was nothing but a party city. It's a college town, which is a party city. So, let me turn this light down a little bit. But so, we would go out on the town, and I would spend money. I would get myself drunk. I would do all this stuff that young punks do, and and try to heal myself that way, which really it didn't heal. It just wasted a bunch of money that you could have spent otherwise and saved up that money so you didn't have to go through those trying times. But what do you do? When you at the lowest and you never had anything, and now you're starting to get a couple bucks and a couple dollars. You want to go out and spend it and have fun because you've been going through rough times. So what else is it to just have fun? You want to have fun. So I end up meeting somebody at my job, and we end up having some sort of a relationship and this, that, and the other. So, she had a couple kids, so it just wasn't the prime situation for me, but it was somebody. It was somebody. It was somebody that could come and check up on me. It was somebody that I can go and spend some time with. It was somebody that, I can talk to, be cool with. And, that ended up being a 5-year relationship that I really didn't want to be a 5-year relationship, and I didn't know what to do. So, I would get myself in these situations with these females and just couldn't find myself out of it because I didn't want to be a jerk. Because I knew I had came from a bad situation and they took time out with me. So I felt I owed them that instead of just keep rebuilding Jacoby. So that ended after 5 years and everything. And at this time I had bought a house, bought a brand new house, and I had a couple cars, and then all of a sudden, things were taken away from me because of a domestic violence situation. So, the domestic violence situation ended up keeping me away from my house for about 14 weeks. 14 weeks, and then we had to end up to agree to sell the house. And I bought this house at 91,000, but because I bought it with her on the title in the state of Florida, it's 50-50. So we had to end up selling the house, which we took the equity out of the house, which we lost 50 grand to 100 grand in the house, and we only got 20 grand out of it. So it was like, it wasn't worth it, but again, it was a living situation. So I end up getting my house, and I end up taking it over and keeping the house. And then I end up finding my fiance. My fiance. She was recently out of a relationship, a marriage actually, and she had a little girl that was 9 months old. And we just started having and hit it off, having the most amazing relationship ever. The most amazing relationship ever. And I was in school at the time, and I was going to school, working full time, going to school, and also I had started promoting this rap artist by the name of Akafu. And he had a hit record called Hater Blockers. And so when she came into the situation, she was like, it was a new life for her. She was going to the clubs with me. She was going to watch Akafu perform. She was going to see. So it was totally different from her because she was more from a kept in situation. Her dad wouldn't let her out, and she couldn't really go out until she moved out of the house. So that's why she ended up getting married at 18 to get out of the house. But she seen that was short lived and everything. So me and her had worked at the job together, and that's how we started hitting it off. So she got her divorce and everything, and I got a beautiful stepdaughter out of it, and I've been in her life since she was 9 months old. And so we just basically started hitting it off. Hitting it off. At first, I thought she was 9 years younger than me, so it was just like, I think I'm just gonna build her up for the next person, and then but again, with me, I love hard. So I was in a situation that I couldn't let go. And I'm glad I never did let go, because I wouldn't have her now, because she's been my biggest supporting cast that I could ever imagine. And it was beautiful, and it's been wonderful. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her, because she allowed me to do the things in the music that wasn't making any money. She allowed me to retire from the rat race to get on this internet that wasn't making any money. And she was blessing me with the money to do it, the startup money to do it. So I tell you my story to tell you this. You have to give it your all in life. You're going to have some gives, and you're going to take away some things. You're going to have to give, and you're going to have to take away some things. But that's what life is about. And I'm so glad that I learned my life lesson as a man young and early, so I didn't have to stumble along the way and wait till I'm 40, 42 to find out who I am and what I'm really doing. I'm glad I found myself early. So my thing to you is take action. Take action on what's going on in your life. Take action on changing your life. Your life can get better. It doesn't have to be the same life that you're used to living. Join me in my journey. Click the link below. Join me in my journey. And I will show you a life of freedom. I will show you the life that I had got introduced to just a short time ago. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to show you this and to include you in this journey. Because the journey you're coming into the journey when it's sweet. Not when it was tough times, because you wouldn't have wanted to be a part of that journey. But this journey here is sweet. You can change your life overnight with this journey. So come join me and my family, and you can change your life as well, and you can create your story. Because every day that you live, every day that you work at your 9 to 5 job, or every day that you're unemployed, or every day that you're looking for a job, or every day that you don't know how to get your bills paid, you can change your life by making one decision. And if I had not made the decision to stay with my fiance today, I would be in the worst situation of my life. In the worst situation of my life. So create your future. Create you. Give your life a chance. Give your family a chance. Change your life. But if you're comfortable and this is not for you, it's not for everybody. You can continue to live the same life that you've been living. But I didn't want that. I wanted to change my life, and I wanted to change my life in a hurry. And my fiance was the one to bless me with that change. So now I'm paying it forward to you. You ever heard that story? Pay it forward. I'm paying it forward to you right now. Join us in our journey below, and I'll see you on the inside.